What's good, Commanders family? Brian Copeland Jr. here, and I have a very, very special guest. Our first official free agent signing, tight end, Zach Ertz. How you doing, fella?
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. You came fresh, man. Got the burgundy suit. So you always have the burgundy suit, or did you just bring that for the Commanders?
Maybe I always had it in. I would say in the closet. Always kind of had it in the back of my mind. Maybe I'm going to need this one day. And
yes, sir.
It definitely came in handy today. Obviously, I'm excited to be here. Obviously, played against these guys, us now for so long.
Yes.
So I'm excited to be here for sure.
For sure. And you just got in, the building. Just put pen to the paper, saw you eating. And how has your welcome to Washington been so far?
It's been amazing. Obviously, there have been a lot of familiar faces coming from my time in Arizona with Kliff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've played against Dan for so many years. Adam, I really got to know in the past year when I was a free agent. So there's just so many great people here. I've actually played with Tavita Pritchard, so he's actually the quarterback coach. So he was a fifth-year senior when I was a freshman at Stanford. So we've got to know each other so well throughout the years. But ultimately, it's been amazing so far. The people have been awesome. And like I said, I'm just excited to be here.
Well, Zach, we're excited to have you here. You have the stats. You have the accolades. You got the ring.
Yeah.
So what makes Zach Ertz say, you know what, I want to go to Washington? What made this be your next home?
I think ultimately it comes down to two things. One, the people. Like I said, I'm really excited to play for Dan and really excited to get with Kliff again, but also just the opportunity that we're going to have. This is the ground floor essentially of an exciting new organization, whole reload per se with Josh Harris and the new ownership,
yes, sir.
New GM, new head coach, new OC, and there's still a lot of talented players on this team, so I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, and you talked about Dan Quinn and how you were excited to play with him or play under him. What about those conversations that you had with Dan Quinn made you say, you know what, this guy's got something here?
Yeah, I think ultimately a coach's job is to put players in position to be successful and maximize their strengths to the utmost degree and ultimately get the most out of the players. And everyone I've talked to about Dan Quinn says he does that and even then some. And so I don't view like I'm going into year 12 and I don't view myself as a finished product in this league. I feel like there's still stuff I can learn and there's stuff I can improve on and grow as a player and a person. So I'm really excited to just learn from him. And like I said, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the guy.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either, honestly. We don't plan to hear none of that stuff, so that's awesome, man. And, of course, Kliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
You have that relationship. You guys played together in Arizona. He coached you.
Yeah.
What about that relationship made you say, I want to go and run this back with Kliff Kingsbury?
Yeah, obviously, Kliff and I go back from our time in Arizona. And I loved playing for the guy. I was traded out there. There was 10 games left in the season, and I said, I don't want to leave Arizona because I want to play for Kliff. And then obviously everything happened in Arizona, and this presented itself to come out and reunite with Kliff and be in his offense again. Kliff is just so smart as an offensive mind. He wants to get his guys the ball. He wants to be able to put his guys in positions to be successful, move me around in a bunch of different spots, run the ball, be efficient running the ball. And so it's an offense that I love playing in. Obviously, I've had some success in the past. And when I looked at this, I said, hey, this is where I want to be.
And you can see it off the rip, you and Kliff's chemistry, right? I saw you guys at lunch. It looks like brothers just hanging out and seeing each other again. How important is that to have that relationship with your offensive coordinator? You've been in some very great offenses.
Yeah.
How important is that relationship with your OC?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, at the end of the day, I am just employee 86. But it is great to have a relationship, especially early on, because it just allows my comfort level to be so much greater than it would if I came into a building and didn't know anyone or didn't understand what the offense I was getting into. The expectations are very clear, and what the expectations are for me as a player and what my role is going to be. And now it's up to me to go out there and execute it at a high level.
And I'd love to hear from you. What are those expectations? Because you have worked with Kliff Kingsbury before. He's a new offensive coordinator for us. A lot of fans aren't familiar with him and don't know really what it's like having a guy like that, but you do. Talk to us about that and what is that culture like under Kliff Kingsbury?
Yeah, the expectation on offense, one, is to score a lot of points. To have explosive plays. We obviously have really good receivers and obviously signed a really good running back in Austin. And Brian's a really good player as well at running back. So the skill position there, there's going to be everyone's going to have opportunities to get the ball. It's not going to be the offense is going to run through one guy. Kliff's offense is at its best when there's 3 or 4 options on any given play, and the defense doesn't know what's going to happen. And that's what we're going to all have to do. We're all going to have to buy in. No one's going to have 200 catches, and everyone's got to be okay with that because ultimately it's about winning football games. And I think that's what we're all here to do.
Said like a true leader. And I think that's what's really cool about having you in, is because we could have a very young offense, a very young roster.
Yeah.
What do you bring as far as leadership into this locker room and how you can help this Washington Commanders team?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, this is my 12th year now, so I've seen a lot of different things. But first and foremost, my job is to be a really good football player. So first and foremost, I got to focus on that, getting my body right, getting my mind right to be at my best when the situation calls for it. And then secondly, just going about my business. You know, how does a guy that lasted 12 years in the league go about his day-to-day, be sounding boards for some of these young guys? If they have questions, how did I do this? How did I deal with this? Not only on the field situation, but whether it be off the field situation. And so there's a lot of vets that I've leaned on in my past that kind of helped me become the player and person I am today. And hopefully I can be that for some of these guys too.
You talk about those questions. How did you do this?
Yeah.
Well, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn have talked about building a championship culture here.
Yeah.
You've won a championship.
Yeah.
How do you build that culture, and how can you help us build that culture within Washington?
Yeah, I think one of the priorities for any great organization is your best players have to be your hardest workers. And if that's not the case, it's going to be really difficult to have sustained success in this league, because if your best players are just going with the wind, and one day they're great and the other day they're terrible, not as players, because that's pretty consistent, but just as their work ethic is going to rub off on the young guys. And so your best players have to be your hardest workers, and it seems like that's the organization that's the organizational things that they're really prioritizing, is getting guys that love the game and love football. And obviously you need talented players. You're not going to win a lot of games if you're not a talented team. But in order to have sustained success in this league, you got to have guys that love the game, that are going to exhaust, that are going to wring that towel out, to maximize their talent. And they're going to give us every opportunity to maximize our talent. And it's up to us to do the rest.
And Zach, you've definitely maximized your talent throughout your career. And we all have goals. We all have aspirations. We all have expectations, especially this Commanders fan base. But I want to know, what are your goals for this season? What are your expectations for yourself?
Oh, man, what a question.
That's what I'm here to do.
First and foremost, man, my goal is to play every game.
Yes, sir.
Because I know if I can be healthy, obviously there's a lot of factors that play into it, but to be healthy and play every game, I know if I'm able to get on the same page with the quarterback, my individual goals is play every game and let the stats and catches, they'll take care of itself. But ultimately, it's about winning football games. And my goal is to put my best foot forward each and every week, and I'm going to demand that of my teammates as well. The goal, if you have 10 catches and we lose the game, it's not a good game. And that's just facts. You want to be a key player on a winning team, obviously, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is winning. So if I need to have 1 catch or 10 catches, or Terry needs to have 10 catches or 1 catch, everyone's got to be rowing in the same direction, and that's about winning football games.
And Zach, you've won a lot of football games, especially in the NFC East. So I got to ask you, man, is it a little sweet being able to be back in the NFC East and see a couple of your former teams and get to play against them? Is that a little extra bonus?
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I have no idea what that reception is going to be like in Philly, but I know on the other side what it's like, and I'm excited to be in this division again, man. It's I've told a couple people in the past day or so, this is the best division in football, without a doubt, in my opinion. The media, the fans, everything is so demanding, and they expect winning. And if you don't win, they're going to let you know. And I have no problem with that, because I'm going to put my best foot forward each and every day to try and win football games. And I'm excited to be back in this division for sure.
Well, we're excited to have you, and the fans are very excited to have you. You mentioned the fans, so this is their first time getting to see you as one of our own, right? They always got to see you as an opponent. So we had a couple fan questions for you, if that's okay.
Of course,
Can we ask you just 2 questions from the fans, just to get you to build that relationship up? What would you say is your football superpower? Our head coach Dan Quinn likes using that word superpower a lot. What is your football superpower?
Oh, man. My football superpower, I would say, is the ability to get open. It's something that I've prided myself a lot over the years. In my opinion, and it's probably a lot of opinions of a lot of receivers or tight ends, that you got to have the mentality that no one can cover you. And I try and take that mentality not only on the field, but also apply it on the field, and try and get open and create as much separation for quarterbacks as I can. And also, I want to say, just being a good teammate, being a guy that wants to help guys maximize their potential and win football games.
Yes, sir. Great question. Great question, Fan. We got one more for you before we let you go. How sweet This was funny. How sweet will it feel to get victories over the Eagles twice a year?
Oh man, it's gonna be exciting. Obviously, there's a lot of history going back there, but I'm all in on the Commanders now. We've had a lot of history against each other, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
so glad to be on this side now. It's gonna be fun. I'm so excited to be back in this division and play for this team. And so I'm really, really excited. I can't really articulate how excited I am because I don't think it's really going to hit me until I run on that field and be able to see all the amazing fans for this team and in the DMV. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, man, I can tell you excited. I can feel your energy and your emotion. I'm sure the fans watching can feel how excited you really are. So I need you to do one more thing. Looking at ISO camera right there, give a message to your new fan base, the Commanders family, on why they should be excited about the things to come this season.
What's up, Commanders fans? Zach Ertz here. There's so many reasons to be excited about this season. Obviously, new ownership from last year, new GM, new coach, but there's going to be a ton of new players that are here with one goal, and that's to win football games. And being in this division for so long, I could give you all these cliches about, hey, we're going to work harder than everyone else. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. We got to go out there and earn it each and every week. And that's what we're going to do starting April 1st and for the offseason program.
Love that, Zach. Great message to the fans, Zach. I'm excited. I know the fan base is excited. Thank you so much for taking the time with us because we know we got a lot of work to do, but you came in the studio, came in fly, got the nice kicks from the wife,
appreciate
man.
it.
We appreciate you being here, Zach, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what you do this season.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
Thank you.